Here's part 22 of Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. We are getting so much closer. A backstory of Little Miss Sneezy as I fold some laundry. So on Columbia Island near Seattle is a special military-based hospital where they keep patients with specific incurable random viruses and diseases, like patient zero of a possible pandemic or an epidemic. This is where Miss Sneezy is. She has a hospital room all to herself. These hospitals are decked out, looking like home. These patients can get whatever they want. They have like a monthly budget, so they can go online and purchase whatever the heck they want to keep them comfortable. 3 square meals a day plus snacks. They can have, all the access to the internet, but they can't post anything or tell people their location or tell people who they are and where they're at. They can live it up, except all these patients together have to wear these insulated blue, like hazmat suits that have their own clean air ecosystem within and prevent the spread of whatever disease they have. The other patients don't really know who each other are because all they can see through these suits are like their eyes. So Little Miss Sneezy has been there for a few years now. She went in when she was 17 and she's living life as a carrier of an incurable random disease. So the story opens up in one of these hospital rooms. On an intercom on the wall, Shirley, one of the night guards and workers of the facility, is talking to her through the intercom. Little Miss Sneezy has really never seen Shirley's face. All they do is talk shit, little drama through the intercom. Shirley's got a lot of time on her hands, so she spends her time kind of shooting the shit with all the patients. Girl, okay, let me just say, there is a new type 1 Keegan carrier here, and let me tell you, he is big. And if you two can hook up, maybe you can finally feel a man. You're 22, you're of age, so it's not weird, but he is your age. He is cute, and maybe we can find a way to get you two together. Yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah. Shoot, Shirley, you got my best interest in mind. Maybe we can set up a breeding program for you guys. What if you make indestructible babies? But I don't know how you guys can do the thing without being in contact with each other physically. We don't want to kill each of you with your own diseases. Anyway, so how did you get here exactly? Oh, that is a crazy story, Shirley. We've been down this road many times. Shirley asks, how did you get here? What happened? So, Shirley, when I was 17, when I was still in high school, that's when things started to get a little weird. People around me started to die. It started with my English teacher. She was in school one day, she was fine, and then I handed in an essay, and she handled this essay. And then the next day, she didn't come into school. It's been weeks, and then we finally got reports that she died. I guess she had a brain tumor that was the size of a lemon. That's what people told us. But then it was after her where people in my class also started to die. I had my first kiss with this cute guy in my class, and we hid behind the computer lab in the library, and I kissed him. And then he died. Same thing as my English teacher. Same thing with my parents. My mom passed away when I was younger, and I guess I didn't really know that I had a virus. And my specific virus manifested over the years. I guess it was really, I wouldn't say diluted, but the symptoms didn't appear until I was of age. It took a lot of time in its incubation period. And then finally I hit an age and something happened with my body and it just, boom, it began. So people around me started to drop dead. So anyway, I love my grandma. I was pretty much raised by my grandma. My dad was a very kind of an absent person. He was a very interesting con artist. He went around selling things. He was good at what he did. So I didn't really see him a whole lot. But one day my grandma got really sick. And I took her into the hospital. She was having a hard time breathing and she wasn't doing well. And I took her into this hospital. And immediately, I was waiting in the waiting room. I was waiting for news of my grandma. And then suddenly the doctor came out, cleared the whole waiting room. And it was they kept saying code something, and people just left. People came out, the nurses came out wearing hazmat uniforms and masks and gloves, and then they kept asking me questions about, am I Lisa, granddaughter of my grandmother? And when I said, yeah, is she okay? Is she okay? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna take you to see your grandma, but first we need you to put this on. And they take out this hazmat suit, and they told me, this is to protect you from her. Also, take this pill, dissolves under your tongue, and we'll take you to your grandma. And I was, I thought I was gonna go see my grandma. And on my way, I was dissolving this really disgusting pill under my tongue. It was super sweet, and then I started feeling sick, like sleepy, a little nauseous. And as I was in the suit, they were like, we're going to take you to see your grandma. First, you need to answer these questions. Have you been experiencing symptom? And as I was trying to answer their questions, I woke up here in this room, in this hospital, with weekly checkups with all of the nurses, and weekly blood draws and tests and all of this stuff. And turns out my grandma died because of my illness. And now I'm here on Columbia Island. Yeah, it's a freaking ride. 17 years old I'm now 22. Haven't even had a boyfriend. Haven't even had my first kiss. And it's kind of shit. Hate it. Damn, girl, that's a way to go. Too bad. Maybe we can create a homecoming dance for you guys. Yeah, so you guys can mingle and stuff. Don't really know how that'd work, but at least you get a little bit of socializing. Yeah, that'd be nice. And that's pretty much Miss Sneezy's backstory. But how did she get to Mr. Whittier's riding retreat, you might ask? Well, apparently the suits are so buoyant and well protected and insulated for the carrier, the person, that even though there are trained snipers on the top of this hospital to prevent people from escaping, this Columbia Island pretty much bleeds right into the Puget Sound, the peninsula. And I'm from the state of Washington, and I notice a theme in Chuck Palahniuk's books where it surrounds itself with Washington State, where I'm from, and some of the cities where I grew up in. So Miss Sneezy one day was real crafty and just walked right into the Sound, right at the bottom of the Sound, and appeared in downtown Seattle. Boom! She was free. But now her sinuses are all fucked up from walking on the bottom of the Sound and, breathing her own stuff. And now she has this constant sneezy, constant just coughing, hacking, and now her mold spores. And her sinuses are fucked up permanently. And that's a little Miss Sneezy.